Hey there, everyone. Aravan here again with yet another 5 tips and tricks you've never heard of before in Helldivers 2. Continuing the series of now 3 videos where I go over the most valuable kind of information there is in the video game space. The stuff you don't know, but is useful to know. I've got some new technology to share with you all today, so I'm willing to bet my integrity with this video series titling that by the end of this video, I'll have taught you at least one new trick you didn't know. So, let's get into it. Let's first talk about the most recent change made to hiding in bushes. Did you know how you are practically invisible to the enemy while hiding in them now? While an enemy is outside of 8 meters away from you, they will suffer a 50% cut in their detection cone of vision that is multiplicative with all other modifiers such as nighttime, smoke, scout armor, snowstorms, and so on, making it, depending on the situation, virtually impossible for you to be detected while hiding in a bush. This can allow you to call extract and hide comfortably away from enemies waiting for the shuttle to arrive for a cleaner stealth extraction, which allows me some much needed time to catch up with chat during my live streams. Avoiding a direct confrontation during extraction has never been easier than now thanks to the almighty bush. Speaking of almighty invisibility tech, did you know the ballistic shield now blocks the line of sight for our enemies while pointing it at them? Yep, while facing the enemy with your ballistic shield, the enemy is now unable to locate you for some reason. I guess we now have our cardboard box stratagem.
Just a box.
This allows you to sneak, in quotes, around our enemies to get to key objectives. But what do you do when you reach the objective if the enemy is nearby? Well, we can combine smoke grenades, as we learned in the last video, to block the enemy's line of sight to the terminal, allowing us to stay completely incognito while we work it and get out. If an enemy walks into your smoke and begins to spot you, well, simply turn your shield towards them till they walk away. This works the majority of the time, and I mean, even if it doesn't, you brought a gun. Speaking of weapons, the Peacemaker pairs particularly well with the strategy as it's very quiet and can eliminate any bots that get in your way while you turtle your way around towards the objective as long as no other enemies see them get taken down. Bringing it all together with our third tip here, did you know enemy reinforcements have a detection range of 200 meters and lock on to the nearest Helldiver? But this detection range adheres to the same rules as every other enemy in the game. This means smoke grenades make it impossible for reinforcements to home in on your location, blocking the line of sight entirely. As I covered this extensively in a video detailing how to use this strategy to win Geological Survey's main objective without firing a singular bullet seen here. What if you don't want to use smoke grenades, though? Well, as we've talked about, nighttime, scout armor, weather, and now even bushes affect detection range and will impact the enemy reinforcements' ability to path towards you. If you manage to reduce the 200-meter detection range below the distance you've managed to create before they get dropped off, utilizing these modifiers, the enemy reinforcements will be dropped off and just begin patrolling like any normal enemy squad, unable to locate you. This is particularly useful when you don't feel like being shot at all the way across the map as you leave a hot zone. So be sure to put this one into practice if you're tired of being locked onto by bot drop reinforcements. Keeping things consistent, did you know the enemy not only can hear you, but their hearing varies between units? Heavier units like the Hulks, Tanks, and Devastators have a hearing distance of 40 meters. Light bots, 50 meters, and Factory Striders, if you've ever wondered why they seem particularly attentive, it's because they can hear as far as 60 meters away. If you've ever also wondered what was up with the mortars locking your location the very second you come into range and do anything, however, this is because the mortars have, yes, a hearing range of up to 200 meters away. So if you want to get onto a mortar emplacement without hearing Dispatch's catchphrase, don't make a sound. Call in no stratagems nearby it, fire no shots, and creep your way there. Otherwise, you'll be.
Warning, you are in range of enemy artillery.
Terminids allegedly smell you, but how true is that? Well, it's not. They actually just have the same general hearing range logic as the automatons, but with the additional 30% modifier thrown on top, making it more difficult to avoid their hearing radius, but not more difficult to sneak around them per se. The Terminid chaff has a hearing range of 65 meters, spewers and chargers, a range of 52 meters, and enemies like the Stalker with a range of 200 meters, allowing them to echolocate your exact geological position the moment they spawn into the match. This means if you want to sneak around the Terminid faction, you'll have to use some very quiet weaponry. Or, better yet, just get loud and kill them all, which is, in my opinion, typically the easiest solution when it comes to the bugs. For our fifth tip, did you know going prone reduces the damage you take from explosions? Well, kinda. We've discovered there is a direct statistical correlation between explosive damage and the prone position specifically. All explosive weapons, including ours, have an inner explosive radius in which full damage is dealt. However, they all also have an outer explosive radius, typically beginning by the second or third meter from the hit location, depending on what it is. The outer radius of an explosion does between 99 to 1% of the explosive damage, fading entirely by the edge of the blast zone. However, any Helldiver within this part of the radius that is in the prone position will take 90% less of this damage, nearly nullifying any explosives that are not a direct hit in their entirety. This can be particularly useful when dealing with larger explosive area of effects, such as cannons, where the damage would otherwise be traumatic had you not dove as the blast was coming your way. You might avoid it altogether, and even if you don't, you'll be taking 90% less damage than you would have. Just hope that you survive the collision damage afterwards from being ragdolled across the planet. Bonus tip for those of you who stick around after I've told you the fifth tip because we don't play by the rules. Did you know how our air support stratagem angles are determined? Zeddy, the most useful individual in the Helldivers community, brought this video to my attention in which he displays every variation and how this is determined. Orbitals always launch in a direct line from your destroyer. The eagle strikes that fly in perpendicular will typically fly in from left to right. However, this is not always the case. If you throw the stratagem while facing between 270 degrees and 0 degrees on your compass, Eagle 1 will actually pass from right to left, instead allowing you to avoid colliding your payload with terrain you otherwise would have collided with should you have brought the strike in from the left. Any other eagles that do not fly in perpendicular instead fly in from directly behind where you throw from. So be sure to never throw from an uphill position to avoid any unfortunate accidents. If your beacon bounces, however, forget everything I just said and run for your life, as the bounce will cause the direction to go rogue depending on how it lands. So be careful about this. Bonus tip, because we refuse to play by the non-existent rules that we've already broken with the bonus tip. If you ever get stuck with a stratagem while utilizing the personal shield, do not panic. Hold X on PC, or I don't know, good luck on console, then drop the personal shield. This will leave the stratagem on the ground where you drop the backpack. At that point, it's up to you to clear enough distance to safety before the payload comes down. But you've got a way better chance than you would have otherwise surviving this chance encounter by dropping it. And don't forget to dive to reduce that outer explosive radius damage by 90%. That'll just about do it for today's tips you'd never heard of before. If you did know all of these, however, feel free to call me a liar in the comments below, as I've unfortunately failed you and I do apologize. But hopefully you did learn something new here and will be able to utilize this new technology in your Helldives to further our mission of bringing managed democracy to the galaxy. Thank you for watching till the end, and have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.
And now, another helpful tip from General Brash.
Erevan continues to bring out the very best new techniques and tactics for our soldiers to utilize in the field. For this, I am ordering all active Helldivers to like, comment, and subscribe to his channel. Failure to do so will result in
range of enemy artillery.
Brash tactics. Use them or die trying.